66 million years ago, Earth faced one of the most devastating events in its history. An impact that wiped out the dominant species of the time and reshaped life forever. A massive 10-kilometer-wide asteroid hurtled toward the planet at an estimated speed of 20 kilometers per second, 45,000 miles per hour. The target, a shallow sea near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. When it struck, the energy released was equivalent to 100 trillion tons of TNT, or 10 billion times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The explosion created the Chicxulub crater, a massive impact site over 180 kilometers, 110 miles wide, and 20 kilometers 12 miles deep. In a fraction of a second, everything within 1,500 kilometers, 900 miles of ground zero, was vaporized or incinerated. The immediate aftermath was apocalyptic. The impact triggered global wildfires, ignited by superheated debris raining down across continents. Trees, plants, and entire ecosystems burned for weeks, releasing immense amounts of carbon into the atmosphere. A 500-meter, 5,000-foot tsunami swept across oceans, with waves crashing inland for hundreds of kilometers. In some regions, the water surged over 300 kilometers, 186 miles inland, drowning entire ecosystems. Meanwhile, seismic activity caused magnitude 10 or greater earthquakes, strong enough to shake the planet for hours. Landslides and massive volcanic eruptions followed, worsening the destruction. However, the worst consequence was the global climate catastrophe that followed. The impact ejected trillions of tons of sulfur and dust into the atmosphere, creating a dense cloud that blocked sunlight for years. Without sunlight, photosynthesis stopped, leading to the collapse of food chains. First, plants and plankton perished, followed by herbivorous dinosaurs that depended on them. With their food sources gone, predatory dinosaurs soon starved. Even marine life suffered as ocean temperatures dropped, acidity increased, and oxygen levels fell. The Earth's climate plummeted into a prolonged winter, with temperatures dropping by at least 10 degrees Celsius, 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Acid rain, caused by sulfur-rich particles in the atmosphere, poisoned lakes and rivers, further devastating ecosystems. By the time the dust settled, Earth had lost 75% of all species, including the iconic non-avian dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, and velociraptors. Massive flying reptiles, known as pterosaurs, and marine reptiles, like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs, also perished. Yet, not all life succumbed to extinction. Small burrowing mammals, along with certain birds, reptiles, and amphibians, found ways to survive in the changing world. The end of the dinosaurs marked the beginning of a new era, the rise of mammals. Freed from competition, these small creatures evolved into new forms, leading, millions of years later, to the ancestors of modern mammals, including humans. The asteroid impact was one of the most significant turning points in Earth's history. It was both an end and a beginning, the violent close of one reign and the dawn of another. Without it, dinosaurs might still rule the Earth, and the path of evolution, as we know it, would have been entirely different. For over 160 million years, mammals lived in the shadows of dinosaurs. Most were small nocturnal creatures that fed on insects, constantly avoiding the dominant reptilian predators. But with the sudden extinction of the dinosaurs, these survivors seized the opportunity to thrive. The Paleocene epoch, 66-56 million years ago, marked the beginning of their rapid evolution. Without giant predators ruling the land, mammals diversified, growing larger and adapting to new environments. Some developed stronger teeth for chewing tough vegetation, while others became swift runners to escape emerging predators. Over time, they spread into forests, grasslands, and even aquatic environments. By the Eocene epoch, 56-34 million years ago, Earth had transformed into a warm, humid paradise, rich in dense forests and vast wetlands. Mammals expanded into nearly every ecological niche, giving rise to the ancestors of modern whales, horses, elephants, and primates. Some species adapted to life in trees, evolving grasping hands and keen eyesight. Others became fast-running herbivores, while new carnivorous mammals took on the role of apex predators. This was a golden age for mammalian evolution, setting the stage for the world as we know it today. But this warm and stable period wouldn't last forever. Earth's climate was slowly beginning to shift, preparing for an era of dramatic change. Around 34 million years ago, Earth's climate began a gradual but significant cooling process, marking the transition from a warm greenhouse world to the ice-covered planet we recognize today. Two major geological events played a crucial role in this shift. First, the formation of the Antarctic Circumpolar Current created a powerful oceanic barrier around Antarctica, cutting it off from the warm waters that once moderated its climate. This allowed ice sheets to form and expand, eventually covering much of the continent. Second, the rise of the Himalayas dramatically altered global weather patterns. As the towering mountains eroded, they exposed fresh rock that reacted with atmospheric carbon dioxide through a process called chemical weathering, effectively pulling COIs out of the air. With lower COIs levels, less heat was trapped in the atmosphere, leading to a gradual global cooling trend. Over millions of years, this cooling intensified, and by the Oligocene epoch, 23 million years ago, glaciers had firmly established themselves at the poles, setting the stage for the Ice Age that would shape the future of life on Earth. The Ice Age, officially called the Quaternary Glaciation, began 2.6 million years ago and continues today, though we are currently in an interglacial period. Contrary to the common perception of a single unbroken freeze, the Ice Age was marked by repeated cycles of glacial and interglacial periods, phases where massive ice sheets expanded and retreated across the planet. At its peak, roughly 30% of Earth's surface was covered in ice, with glaciers stretching from the Arctic deep into North America, Europe, and Asia. These vast ice sheets reshaped landscapes, carving out valleys, altering coastlines, and creating many of the lakes we see today. As temperatures dropped, ecosystems underwent dramatic transformations. Rainforests shrank, deserts expanded, and sprawling grasslands replaced once lush woodlands. The changing environment forced animals to adapt, giving rise to the megafauna, giant mammals that evolved to survive the extreme cold. Towering woolly mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths, and massive bison dominated the frozen landscapes, relying on thick fur, fat reserves, and unique hunting or foraging strategies to endure the harsh conditions. But the Ice Age wasn't just a test for animals. Early human ancestors were also learning to survive in this unforgiving world. The Ice Age produced some of the most fascinating and formidable creatures to ever walk the earth. Towering over 4 meters, 13 feet tall, woolly mammoths were among the most iconic. These massive relatives of modern elephants had thick, shaggy fur and long, curved tusks, which they used to fight off predators and dig through snow to reach vegetation. They roamed the frozen tundras of Europe, North America, and Asia in herds, surviving in some of the harshest conditions ever known. But they were not alone. One of the most fearsome predators of the era was the saber-toothed cat, often referred to as Smilodon. These muscular hunters had 20-centimeter 8-inch long canine teeth, designed for piercing the thick hides of prey. Unlike modern big cats, they relied on ambush tactics, using their powerful forelimbs to pin down animals before delivering a fatal bite. Other giants of this frozen world included the giant ground sloths, such as Megatherium, which could grow as large as an elephant and weighed up to 4 tons. Unlike their modern tree-dwelling relatives, these enormous creatures roamed open landscapes, using their massive claws to pull down tree branches and defend against predators. Another remarkable species was the Irish elk, one of the largest deer to have ever lived. These majestic creatures stood over 2 meters, 6.5 feet at the shoulder, with enormous antlers spanning up to 3.5 meters, 12 feet across, making them one of the most visually striking animals of the Ice Age. Despite their size and adaptations, most of these species eventually vanished, either due to climate change, habitat loss, or human hunting. The Ice Age wasn't just a test for animals, it was a turning point for humans. In a world where survival depended on intelligence, adaptability, and resilience, our ancestors found a way to thrive where many giants fell. The rise of humans, survival in a frozen world around 2.5 million years ago in Africa, the first early humans emerged, Homo habilis. Unlike other primates, they had larger brains and the ability to make simple stone tools, which helped them survive in a constantly changing environment. But they were not alone. Over the next few million years, multiple human species evolved, each adapting to different conditions. By 1.8 million years ago, a more advanced species, Homo erectus, appeared. They were taller, stronger, and had a key advantage: the ability to control fire. Fire provided warmth, protection from predators, and the ability to cook food, making digestion easier and leading to better nutrition. With this advantage, Homo erectus spread far beyond Africa, reaching Asia and Europe. Around 300,000 years ago, in the freezing landscapes of Ice Age Europe, another species emerged, the Neanderthals. Stocky and muscular, they were built for the cold, with larger noses to warm the air they breathed, and thick bones to endure harsh conditions. Neanderthals were intelligent hunters, who used complex tools, buried their dead, and may have even had rudimentary language. Meanwhile, around 200,000 years ago, in Africa, our own species, Homo sapiens, appeared. Unlike Neanderthals, Homo sapiens had a slender build but possessed an unmatched ability to innovate and communicate. They crafted advanced tools, developed art, and formed social networks that allowed them to share knowledge across generations. As the Ice Age reached its harshest period, these two species, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, coexisted for thousands of years, sometimes competing for resources, other times interbreeding. However, by 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals had vanished. The reasons remain debated: climate change, competition with Homo sapiens, or a gradual merging of populations through interbreeding. Regardless of the cause, only one species remained. Homo sapiens had not only survived the Ice Age, but would go on to reshape the world in ways no other species ever had. The end of the Ice Age, a new world, emerges around 12,000 years ago. The Ice Age came to an end, transforming the planet. As temperatures rose, massive glaciers that had once covered vast regions began to melt. This caused sea levels to rise by over 120 meters, 400 feet, submerging coastlines and wiping out land bridges, including the Bering Land Bridge, which had once connected Siberia and North America. With the retreat of the Ice Age, ecosystems shifted, forests expanded, replacing tundras, while deserts and grasslands changed in response to new climate patterns. The once harsh conditions of the Ice Age gave way to a more stable and warmer environment, setting the stage for a major turning point in human history. As the climate stabilized, early humans transitioned from nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyles to settled communities. Around 10,000 BCE, the first permanent villages emerged, with humans learning to cultivate crops and store food. By 8000 BCE, the domestication of animals, such as sheep, goats, and cattle, provided reliable sources of meat, milk, and labor, further supporting growing populations. This agricultural revolution allowed human societies to flourish, leading to the rise of the first cities around 5000 BCE, marking the beginning of organized civilization. With stable food supplies, complex societies emerged, paving the way for advancements in architecture, trade, governance, and written language. Humanity had not only survived the Ice Age, but had also used the changing world to its advantage. However, this was just the beginning. The forces that shaped early civilizations, climate, geography, and human innovation, would continue to shape the course of history in unexpected ways. Even though the Ice Age ended over 12,000 years ago, its effects are still visible across the planet. Many of the landscapes we see today were shaped by massive glaciers that once covered vast regions. In North America, the Great Lakes, Lake Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario, were carved by the movement of ice sheets, which scoured the land and filled the basins with meltwater as they retreated. Meanwhile, the Amazon rainforest, now one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth, was once a patchwork of dry savannas and scattered forests. During the Ice Age, lower global temperatures and reduced rainfall caused the rainforest to shrink significantly, creating isolated pockets of vegetation where species were forced to adapt or perish. Beyond reshaping the land, the Ice Age also influenced modern weather patterns. The shift in ocean currents, atmospheric circulation, and glacial meltwater flows helped create today's climate zones, from arid deserts to temperate forests. Even now, the Arctic and Antarctic ice sheets, remnants of the Ice Age, continue to regulate global temperatures by reflecting sunlight and stabilizing ocean currents. However, with human-driven climate change accelerating, these ice sheets are melting at an alarming rate. As sea levels rise and weather patterns become more unpredictable, we are facing a new climate challenge, one that could reshape the world once again, just as the Ice Age did millions of years ago. For millions of years, Earth's climate changed slowly. Today, humans are accelerating that process. Burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide at levels unseen in millions of years. Glaciers are melting faster, sea levels are rising, weather patterns are becoming more extreme. Throughout history, climate change has shaped life, but now, for the first time, we are the ones causing it. The question is, will we learn from history, or will we repeat the mistakes of the past? The Ice Age wiped out giants, reshaped continents, and paved the way for civilization. Now, we are the ones shaping what happens next. Will humanity adapt, or will we become another forgotten species? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love exploring lost worlds and forgotten history, hit like, subscribe, and stay curious.